About a century ago, Cherokee Street emerged as a shopping destination for St. Louisans. Electric streetcars shuttled patrons into the South City neighborhood's mile-long strip of shoe stores, bakeries, and jewelers, all of which sat nestled in with big names like Penney and Woolworth. But as people began to move out of the city and into the suburbs, so did the big-name stores that had provided an anchor for Cherokee's business district. Empty storefronts and a reputation for crime settled in for several decades, but the neighborhood's eclectic nature and impressive diversity also remained. Today, Cherokee Street boasts a thriving small business community, 90% of which are owned by minorities. And near the corner of Cherokee and Jefferson, a new anchor has emerged. But it's not a big box store. It's a deep reverence for building and preserving community.
I've always said that Cherokee Street feels like Sesame Street because you're going to see someone that you know coming in and out of a store. You're going to see someone crossing the crosswalk. Sometimes you don't remember how you met a person because you see them so often. One day you start up a conversation and then 7 years has passed.
A familiar face is so comforting. I discovered that over the pandemic because I seen how people were starting to utilize the space because they ultimately were stuck at the house, but they knew that they could come here and we would end up having conversations for hours.
There's a lot of good camaraderie, and we all really have a love, like a deep love for each other.
Butter Love is a newer addition to Cherokee Street, but creator and owner LaCrosia Wilderness is not. She had been living in the neighborhood for years, making skincare products in her kitchen. Inspired by the ingredients that her parents had given her to heal her own intensely dry skin, LaCrosia's creations can be found in stores all over the US, Canada, and France. When a building that provided space for her to make and sell product became available on the street that she already loved, LaCrosia decided to use the grand opening to celebrate not just her own achievements, but also those in the neighborhood who had provided so much support.
This community is so inviting and so loving and nurturing that I want it to not just be, money being made for Butter Love. I want the whole community to make money. So we had Hop Shop that's on the corner make specialty Butter Love cocktails. Aloha, who owns Black Coffee down the street at the Luminary, I wanted her to come sell her black lemonade. The Master Pizza popped up and made heart-shaped pizzas for everybody. So that was a big piece for me. Like, I want my peoples there with me. I'm about to cry.
I call the Noir Bookshop a concept bookstore, the concept being the African American experience. And so this store is designed to mimic my paternal grandparents' home.
The Noir Bookshop exclusively carries titles written by Black and Brown authors and features a take one, leave one library, rare finds that the public can interact with in store, and books for sale that range from vintage to current bestsellers. Owner Imani Wentz started out her career as a journalist, and in 2014 was an intern for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch when the call came in that Michael Brown had been killed.
And so I got to see firsthand the reporting of what was going on in Ferguson in the very first days. And then when I returned to Mizzou, fall of 2015, when students protested against the university system, seeing young people my age really stop going for the status quo and standing up for what they believed in and fighting against racial inequality and police brutality. It was experiences like that once I started creating my bookstore, I just thought about what would my bookstore's role have been if it existed.
But before it existed, Imani had a true Sesame Street moment on Cherokee Street. Just a couple of doors down from the Noir Bookshop sits Profield Reserve. The clothing boutique and design shop had developed a reputation for being an unofficial networking and support site for creatives. Owner and designer Christopher welcomed artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs to utilize his space to promote their work, including Imani.
I asked if I could borrow his store for the weekend and turn it into a bookstore. And it was because of that event. It was packed, so many people came, and I generated enough revenue to sign the lease for this space 3 days later. But he did that consistently. He probably hosted over 15 to 20 different individuals. He really gave a lot of people the creative freedom to sort of launch.
I just knew the importance of, I had the space, and I knew there wasn't a lot of places in the city that were open up to the space to the people that I saw coming through the door. And the people that were coming through the door, to me, were the most talented people in the city, but very overlooked. So when I was provided the opportunity to throw a Profield event inside of a very traditional art gallery that's known all over the city, immediately I was like, I'm going to go access art from the people that I know deserve space on a wall. Throwing Together We Ball was like a really big, like, monumental thing for me.
One thing about Chris, he is a visionary, and he is such a visionary, and he puts so much energy into the community that people see and they want to work with him and they want to be a part of whatever he's cultivating. So when he created Together We Ball, he knew it was going to be big.
There were people there. There were people there that was the first time showing, first time they sold a piece of artwork. There were people there that came to the show that had never been to an art show and had bought their first piece of artwork.
The best thing about this event is that we have artists like Basil Kincaid and Damon Davis that show at Art Basel, and then we have artists here who have never even printed artwork before. It just shows that St. Louis is a community where you can have access.
I think he just wanted to create a space for everybody to be celebrated.
Together We Ball wasn't just an art show, but a celebration of all of those who owned businesses, shopped, or made their home in the Cherokee Street community. Food, drink, artists, and music represented the neighborhood's rich variety of talent, and all the people who had supported each other through the hard, lean times were able to savor a night highlighting their success and resilience.
So this street is the only street in St. Louis that 90% of the businesses here are minority, Black-owned businesses. To have a space, to have a street is very important, and everybody here is for the same cause, for the same reason. We're for the community, by the community.
I definitely think Cherokee Street has a huge opportunity to shape a really cool shopping district. I really do. And even just a space for the community to keep growing.
We try to figure out how we can do events together and how we can bring more people to the street and how we can make this a vibe for everybody.